They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. Wop, 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 wop. That song has been stuck in my head all day. What's up, you guys? Your girl G here. Welcome back to my channel. Appreciate you for tuning in. Gonna do a little quick livey live. I haven't done one in a minute, a hot minute, so that's why I wanted to come on here, jump on. We had a lot of stuff that happened this week. And I just didn't get a chance to talk about it. Honestly, the storms have been coming on, killing the light over here, y'all. Like I said, y'all know I record over here by my window, and I can't do that when we got literally, boom shakalaka rain down hellfire. Shout out to Wendy's mom, okay? Shout out to over there Wendy's mom, rain down hellfire. But you guys, there's so much to talk about, so let's not waste no time. Let's go ahead and get into it. We'll knock out the little bitty, things first, and then we'll get into, some of the heavier discussions. So everybody who hops in, let me know that you joined. Drop down in the comments. Appreciate you. Let you, hit that thumbs up button as well. All right. So first things first, let's go ahead and open up Instagram and see what I got saved here. Let's see. Let's see. When I'm speaking of going to Miss Whoopi Goldberg, I don't know if she has a book coming out or she's doing an interview, but here recently, she was talking about how she kind of low-key admitted, y'all, that she had a problem with the drugs back in the day. It's not surprising. I mean, a lot of the celebrities were on that stuff back then. Like, everybody tells stories about how back then everybody was walking into the parties and you had a smorgasbord of drugs to pick from. Now, Whoopi Goldberg's drug of choice was, Snow White, cocaine, and she said that she got addicted to it for a little while. And it's not surprising. Like, we're not hearing stories from these celebrities where it's like, oh, I could never see that. No, it makes sense. It makes sense because, the 60s and 70s, everybody knows that the drug of choice back then was powder, okay? Especially if you have money. If you have money, the drug of choice was going to be pills and powder, point blank period. So I'm glad, Whoopi Goldberg got up off that stuff, but her revealing, all these things about her story is actually really interesting because we don't get a lot from Whoopi Goldberg other than on The View, of course. But when we do get a chance to kind of get an insight to a lot of these celebrities' backgrounds, their entrance into, Hollywood and just obviously what happens behind the scenes or when the cameras go off, as people say, we are going to hear those stories about what it was like back in the day when there was no cameras. Remember, y'all, like, imagine what it was like back then having no social media. You didn't have to worry about people, recording you. You could imagine the hot mess that was going on in these hotel parties, in these we could imagine. But yeah, Whoopi Goldberg, y'all, she said she had a little problem, but shout out to Whoopi Goldberg, big fan of hers. I'm glad she was able to get through it. I do enjoy some of her commentary on some things. Other times you can miss me, but a bad clock could be right twice a day, okay? So let's go to the shade room first. But that was the first thing that popped up, so that's why I just mentioned that. So let's go to the shade room. I was gonna get into JT and Sukiyana though. Honestly, when this stuff first started, I just didn't have the mental capacity to talk about JT and Sukiyana. Like, we get it, right? Like, we get, like, JT and Sukiyana, just my brain level, I just couldn't get it to discuss that. Now, JT did drop a song called Okay that I hear it's a cute little bop or whatever, and it's obviously what I would expect from, somebody like JT. But then that caused, a ruckus with Sukiyana, and they started going back and forth on Twitter and just kind of made it about possibly having beef behind the scenes because JT mentioned in the song, hoes breaking their teeth on crab legs. And we all know famously that Sukihana was upset about her missing tooth. Now her tooth, her tooth, her missing tooth. Sukihana was not happy about it. So she just straight up asked JT on social media, like, wait a minute, I just saw you a few weeks ago. And we was hugging and stuff. Like, so is there a problem or not? And then the problem ensued. And then Sukihana dropped a so-called diss track. The Kendrick and Drake beef has got everybody else in the mood, I guess, to jump in the mess. Okay. And so Sukihana dropped a diss track. I only heard a little snippet of it. It was giving real Miami, real good Miami. Tia Kemp Reed. I think she called her armadillo at one point. It was like Kevin Hart. It was like long titty, no nipple having. That's all Sukihana was giving. But overall, JT and Sukihana, I just could not get into it. So I'm not really gonna touch on like get into more of it because it's just girls beefing, you know. And JT eventually went private. So yeah, it was just those girls going back and forth, and I just didn't have the. I really just did not have the brain capacity to talk about it. Let's see, Shade Room. Let's see. Everybody joining, coming in. Make sure you come in. You know, let me know. Drop down in the comment section. Let's see. Do I have DJVlad saved? Let's see. I think I do. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about Mr. DJVlad since he's the first one that came up on here. So everybody knows DJVlad has been a part of the culture for a hot minute. So many interviews come out from men who go to DJVlad, quite literally snitching on themselves. You have never seen a group of niggas talk so much that when they go to DJVlad, you go to court, guess what interviews get pulled up? DJVlad. You get pulled over, guess where proof is getting pulled out? DJVlad. Young Thug in court for a RICO charge, guess what they pulled up? DJVlad. Nothing but straight up gossiping and talking about yourself and others. Well, obviously, you know, the Drake and Kendrick beef ensued, and DJVlad decided he was going to pop in, and his comments were, Kendrick's not like us, needed a better mix. It takes away from the song. So then a girl by the name of Morgan Jenkins, she just straight up said, you are white. This is a black folk affair. AKA, mind your business. This black people problems. Like, nobody asked you. No, it was giving real. Who brought the white boy to the party? Well, I guess that pissed DJVlad off, and he decided he was going to get in his feels, and he ended up tagging the woman's job, her actual profession. And he was on Twitter, aka X. Am I the only one who still call this shit Twitter? Like, it's like Twitter X. I'm never going to call it X at the end of the day. Like, I'm just not going to. But DJVlad, like I said, he commented under that and was like, wait, so a professor at Princeton is telling me a white person should be allowed to voice their opinions about hip hop? Is that how you interact with your students? And she commented to that, what I'm saying is that you put your opinion in a discussion that's not needed. This conversation is and should center black people, not you. Now, obviously, when things happen in hip hop, we know white people are involved in culture. Like, we understand black people, we quite literally are the culture. Anything we do is what everybody else does. Okay, no matter how much shit we go through as black people, I would never trade being a black person for anything, regardless of how much crap, you know, we go through. But nonetheless, he's not understanding. Yes, okay, you a white guy, you enjoy hip hop, you know, you make your money in black spaces, but that still don't negate the fact that wasn't nobody asking for your opinion. Wasn't nobody saying that, hey, we need a DJVlad's view on this, especially in the case that you don't even really truly genuinely show respect for hip hop and black people in general. The only thing DJVlad knows how to do is just do interviews and dig for tea in people's lives, not necessarily showing, true appreciation for, the culture. And when it comes to Black people and really truly how we, say like, oh, you got invited to the cookout, DJ Vlad, he snuck in. He snuck in somewhere. I honestly can't remember the year that DJ Vlad really just kind of like, took off, but it was just weird. We just started seeing his interviews everywhere. And so it's kind of like he snuck in low key. And now he's Russian, but we all know maybe that's how he snuck in because he's Russian. But appearance wise, my nigga, you white. Like when you walk down the street or if you get pulled over, you white. So there's no escaping that viewpoint. But it wasn't for you to really truly say anything in which, us as Black people just truly cared about. So when she dropped that comment, he ended up trying to tag Princeton again. And so he said, don't try to change your words now. I'll be reaching out to Princeton about this on Monday. Sir. So you decided to reach out to a woman's occupation, her job, because you didn't like the fact that she just simply said, you know what? We don't care about your opinion. This we just hold it. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. And your response to that was to do the whitest thing possible, which is, can I speak to your manager? He quite literally pulled a, let me talk to your manager. I will be reaching out to at Princeton on Monday. Sad. You're in the Black culture. You understand, of course, other races know what Black people go through as much as they try to be oblivious to it or not acknowledge the type of treatment that Black people get. If you're going to operate in Black spaces, you cannot ignore the nuances that come with that. And a huge part of that is the, can I speak to your manager, Karen wave point that comes with being, around white folk. And so Morgan, the girl that, he was, going back and forth with, she ended up replying to that. And she said, semester's over and my contract has been completed, but thanks for trying to bully me out of a job for censoring Black people because you got your feelings hurt. Very retaliatory, huh? Nice tactic. It was very retaliatory. Now, because he decided to do that and tag Princeton a bunch of times, DJ Vlad realized, I might have stepped in it because the Black people was not here for that. So he said, I got hundreds of people telling me my opinion doesn't matter as they're replying to my opinion. You can't make this up. Don't flatter yourself, Vlad. But once again, after that, DJ Vlad tagged Princeton again. Good luck being a professor at Princeton again. I doubt the university supports their faculty telling non-Black students to shut up about anything hip-hop related because of their skin color. First of all, Princeton, what students interact with or what they say, like, or talking about in the culture, what does that matter to Princeton? If white people want to listen to hip-hop or listen to Black music or whatever it is outside of going to school, like, that has no never mind to them. You're trying to drag it into having to do something with the university when it absolutely doesn't. And the fact that, once again, you are trying to contact Princeton by adding them a bunch of times, you went out there for a purpose to try and take that woman's job simply because she challenged you and you didn't like what she had to say. It clearly hit a soft point with DJ Vlad. Sometimes when you hit that button on certain people, there's just like, people have their Achilles heel. And I think for a lot of, non-Black people who try to operate in Black spaces or feel like, they're a part of the culture, when they get reminded, nah, not so much, you not, for the culture, you're not really in it like that, they get offended. But when you do stuff like this, DJ Vlad, and you revert back to your Karen ways and pull a can I speak to your manager, you're only proving Black people's point even more of why we don't want you at the cookout, because you did exactly what white people do to Black people, okay? So you only proved Miss Morgan's point. Um, so Morgan, she replied once again saying, which is not even what I said. I find it funny that you specifically chose to respond to me, belittle my academic background, and threaten my job when others responded to you much harsher way. Very interesting and telling, but you got it. A lot of people like DJ Vlad's original post talking about Kendrick and Drake. A lot of people replied to it. So what was it about hers that really like stuck you? That really was what bothered you or triggered you? And it clearly was the fact that it was kind of like mind your business. Like was it like Ashley off of Fresh Prince where he was like, oh, like back up, mind your business now, mind your business. Morgan was telling you, DJ Vlad, this black people business, nobody asked you. And you got upset because typically, you know, the others, the clear people, the 8x11s, they feel entitled to put their opinions in everything. They feel entitled to be in every space. And so when you remind them, hey, you don't belong in every space or you're not needed in every space, it challenges what they are socialized to believe, which is, I can do anything. I'm entitled to say anything. You know, the white people and their entitlement is something different, okay? And for him to specifically, like, he wanted to make sure he picked that point out specifically of him not being black. And so he was just gonna drag that till he could find a way to get back at her. And which he thought he was doing, because once again, y'all, what did he do? He tagged Princeton again when he was like, you're threatening your own job by publicly spewing bigotry, really, Vlad, while representing at Princeton in your bio. I responded to you because all the other responses are from trolls and fake accounts. You may want to think about getting a burner account like all the other biggest do. That's how they keep from getting fired, LOL. How do you know what other people are like robot accounts? Like that could have been a robot account. Like you really don't know. But the fact that he was constantly tagging Princeton, he was on a mission. It really, like, Morgan, you really hit him where it hurt. So DJ Vlad, since then, y'all know everybody was on his ears about trying to go for that woman's job simply because you didn't like what she had to say. Newsflash, nobody's gonna always agree with you, white people, especially like if you know if Nicholas got something to say about it and you don't like it. Sorry, you know, people of other backgrounds that aren't Anglo-Saxon or European, and we challenge you. Don't let it get to your ego, but it with Vlad, it did. So he decided he was gonna call him backpedaling pop, okay? And he, you know, he released a little statement. Okay, he said, "Since it's Monday, let me clear the air and state that I have never had any intention of filing a complaint to Princeton for former Professor Morgan, saying that white people aren't allowed to comment on Kendrick's music. She trolled me, and I trolled back. At the end of the day, it created an interesting discussion about race relations in America. I will be discussing it further in my future interviews, i.e., let me make sure I put my plug in because that's still my job." Sir, you did what you did. Just like you tried to come for her saying, oh, no, you said it. Well, right back at you, Uno reverse. No, you did it. You absolutely were trying to go for that woman's job. You stated, I will be speaking to Princeton. Literally the first tweet was, I'm going to at Princeton. So now that you're catching a lot of heat and flack for it, and black people saying you want to be in black spaces, but then do exactly what we say our oppressors do, which is at any point are looking for any reason to make sure we lose any type of, you know, access to anything. You literally reverted back to that. You reverted back to a very much Karen white adjacent activity. And now you got your feels hurt and you want to try and say, oh, I'll discuss it in future interviews. And my nigga, it might not be no future interviews because at this point, first of all, people have already been tired of DJ Vlad for a hot minute. Like we know he worked for the feds. Anytime, like I said, when these dudes get in trouble, these rappers get in trouble, quite literally the first thing they start playing in court is DJ Vlad interviews. But let me drop down the comments and see what people had to say on the Shade Room about that. Yarrow's like, he was super corny. He's not sorry at all. He's just sorry he didn't get the outcome he was hoping for. Absolutely. That's what happens with a lot of people. They come for people and they're so strong in their conviction because they have an expected result. And then when they don't get that result, that's when the backpedaling pop stop happening. This dude needs to get canceled. Time to sue him, sis. He right. You trying to come for my job, bro. Let's see. On behalf of Morgan, she acknowledges your apology, but your attempt to jeopardize her career is not something that we can easily overlook. The professional way of saying, nigga, you basically. Yeah, DJ Vlad, as people like to say, you can sit on it, spin on it. Don't nobody care. I really hope that this does, kind of kill some of the traction that DJ Vlad has, because he's not for the culture. He wants to make profit off of it, which is what white people do. Y'all love to make money when it comes to being involved with Black people in our culture, but actually appreciating it and being educated on it and trying to understand it, not so much. So, DJ Vlad, I wish nothing but the worst for you. And Morgan, you worked at Princeton, girl. Glad that you just ended your tenure because he really did try to cover your job. And guess what, DJ Vlad? At the end of the day, even with all this stuff happening, you still will never be Black. And there are a lot of people who are other races who very much, it's like you want to be Black till it's time to be Black. Y'all love the swag that comes with it. Y'all love, it comes with the culture, how we, make whatever we have, with style. We make more with less. We could turn nothing into something, okay? That's what, if there's anything Black people do, we're gonna turn nothing into something. And that reverts all the way back to the slave days when they were trying to feed us scraps. Turned it into something. Now barbecue is quite literally one of the biggest, food categories in this country. Y'all trying to feed us ribs and scraps, and now look what happens. So yeah, we are definitely some adaptable people. And so if you're going to feel like you're going to keep trying to, knock us down, what they say, when you try to dig one grave for somebody else, make sure you dig one for yourself. DJ Vlad, that's for you. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to Drake and Kendrick, since we're talking about DJ Vlad. What y'all think about them going back and forth? Who are y'all leaning more towards? Now, for me, without a shadow of a doubt, it was Kendrick. I mean, I'm not gonna say that Drake doesn't make good music. He doesn't, have some hits in there. He absolutely does. But when it comes to just rap beef, and obviously being a fan of rap, and just understanding how this goes, Kendrick, without a doubt, won. Kendrick's "They Not Like Us" is quite literally his back-to-back, because Drake's back-to-back and his beef with Meek Mill became like it was on the billboards. Like everybody was playing back-to-back. And so now for Kendrick to have that type of moment with Drake is quite literally full circle. Like the irony of that got everybody on Twitter, got everybody in the world just crib walking. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can. Let's see. Joe Budden has something to say. Y'all know Joe Budden. He always got something to say. But let's see what he said about Kendrick and Drake.
That was the fastest change of tone. I take in my life? What type of thing if you're the team and take it? It's not. That's a heavy. That's a good. Snoring. I think you gonna make me happy. Don't turn it up. No. That's don't turn it up. He was fucking lose. When you're not talking. He made it a lose. The route. The route took it from him. Don't stop playing. You better get your hands in your pocket. You better. But it's like you.
And then after this, they quite literally just started dancing in the whole room because they not like us. First of all, I had straight West Coast beat, like it quite literally. You heard it, you just heard it wasn't on no beat, ho. And then you just they not like us, they not like us, they not like us. Like you couldn't help but your feet just started turning to the side. They not like us, like. Your feet, you just couldn't help but do a little crib walk, a little tiptoe, okay? And it was just like, it was a moment. It quite literally was a hip hop moment. Everybody is talking about, is this, one of the greatest rap beefs, in comparison to like Tupac and Biggie and Nas and Jay-Z. And I think it might be, like, at least for this, time, this era that we're in, especially since Kendrick dropped so many, like, it wasn't like usually it's like 1, 2, 3 songs. Drake does one, Kendrick does one, Drake does one, Kendrick does one. That's usually where we stop at. But they were going, song for song. I think by the end of the beef, we had reached like 6, 7 songs that both of them dropped out within 2 weeks. But where Kendrick definitely won was the fact that every time Drake dropped, he was on his he dropped when Drake dropped Family Matters. Kendrick had Meet the Grams 10 minutes later. I didn't even know Kendrick had dropped that fast because I was in the car literally in the morning and listening to Sway in the Morning, Shay 4-5. And they were like, oh, Kendrick dropped, and then they played the song. So it was just kind of like, damn, like Kendrick is on one. Drake been quiet ever since. Y'all notice that though? It's been real quiet over there in Drake's camp because I do not think they were prepared for the lyrical assassin that was gonna happen, the assassination that happens through music. And that's what you do. You put it in the music and you let it speak for itself. Now, allegedly, They Not Like Us is rumored to chart on the billboards, allegedly. So we gonna see where it charts on the billboards because it's definitely gonna make it. And even before They Not Like Us, everybody was talking about, we don't want to hear you say no more. We don't want to hear you say no more. Because Drake, everybody's been talking about how you are a chameleon. I tend to call people chameleons. It's a good thing or a bad thing to be a chameleon. And Drake, you are the bad type of chameleon where it's like, a lot of people do kind of have like identity issues. Everybody has at some point some form of identity issue, but it's a lot different for people who are biracial or kind of live in a space of not being Black enough or not being other enough, whatever they're mixed with in comparison to Black. But Black people also have the thing of like, if you are mixed with Black, if your daddy Black, you Black, if you appear, to have, Black features and you appear Black to other people, then you Black. Like you can sit there and say all day, like, oh, I'm white, but if you walking around here with 4C curly hair and, you caramel skin colored, you Black. But that also doesn't mean that you assimilate to your blackness. I guess we'll put it that way, because Drake did grow up with his white mother. Now, obviously, through the evolution of his career, we noticed that Drake started getting a little more, I want to say a little more nigga in him, but that's basically what happened. He started partnering with Lil Baby and 21 Savage. Him and 21 Savage went on a good hot run for a minute. And then we started when Drake got the cornrows. When Drake got the cornrows and put the barrettes in, he was feeling himself. And then when he got the big worm, roller set in his head, he felt like he had finally, blossomed into his blackness, But do you really operate that way, Drake? No, because we sit here and you get release text messages from you and your moms, and you're calling Rick Ross racist to your mama. Make that make sense. Make that make sense, Mr. Drake, Mr. Aubrey Graham. Rick Ross was racist towards you because he called you white boy. Okay, that just goes to show he's lost. Drake is lost, and I really do feel bad for people who are lost internally, because that is mental, emotional, spiritual struggle that if you decide not to do the work will eat you alive. And you can see is written all over your face. You don't have to say a word. Drake is over there in a spiritual tug of war with himself. And a lot of times when it comes to men, when they are at war with themselves, who becomes collateral damage of that? The women that they go after, the women that they're in relationships with. Men who are not okay with themselves and are heterosexual, take that shit out on women, point blank, period. So then, which is what we start hearing these stories of him interacting with minors. You just struck a chord and it's called a minor, okay? Minors. Millie Bobby Brown from, Stranger Things. And not that she was necessarily a minor, but she was a teenager at the time, if I'm not mistaken. When Angel Reese and Flage, kind of started, first bubbling on the scene, and they asked Angel Reese who, was hitting you up in the DMs, and she was like, oh yeah, Drake invited me over to play basketball, and everybody just kind of was like, laughing, like, yeah, to play basketball. Drake ain't inviting you over to play basketball, just play basketball. We'll just put it that way. It ain't just to play basketball. Men have told women countless times they will say and do anything to get the box. And especially going for younger women, because younger women don't have the experience of knowing when these dudes is full of shit, basically, which is why they continuously date younger girls and call them, oh, they're just easier and they're not complicated and they know how to listen. Right. Because their brains aren't fully developed. Anybody under 25, your frontal lobe freaking cortex ain't even fully came in yet. So yeah. Most likely that's what's happening, because you are preying upon her. And so with Drake kind of garnering, that little bit of stigma around him, not to mention, kind of find out Drake was out here just going for all these dudes' women. It came out when Lil Wayne allegedly was locked up, Drake hit up his girl. And the interviewer asked Lil Wayne about that, and he was like, you could clearly see he was taken off guard. That he almost like, damn, you knew that? But Kendrick, he put it all out there. People was feeding Kendrick the information, and he was just all right, writing it down and putting it in the booth. Now, Drake did try to say that, he leaked fake information, especially about Drake allegedly having like an 11-year-old daughter, and things like that. Now, we don't know if Drake has a daughter out there somewhere, but the last time somebody said that you had a kid, Drake, you was hiding your kid from the world from your kid. When Pusha T You want to talk about Pusha P? You ain't going for Pusha T. Let me see you try and push me. I swear, y'all, Kendrick, he was. I tell you, Kendrick was all Drake's ears. But yeah, when Pusha T said you had a child out there, it turned out to be true. So at this point, people just don't know, and everything is plausible at this point because Drake, your character is what's in question. See, a lot of times, in rap beef, it's so easy just to go after the surface level things, oh, you may really be broke, or oh, you ain't got it like that, or you ain't got the swag like that. But when you really, Drake's Achilles heel is his inner battle with his blackness. You saw when he finally started feeling maybe possibly a little more, as you say, like invited to the cookout. His daddy was everywhere with him. He was drinking the brown liquor every time you saw him. He had that big entourage around him. It was given, he was trying to, inherit the blackness, from the culture to fulfill whatever void that he has. It just unfortunately was starting to come off a little corny, a little bit cosplay, Drake. Because if every time you get in a new group of individuals or a new culture and you are starting to present that, even when Drake started hanging around, Jamaicans and Caribbeans, this fool started acting like Chet Hanks and started, oh yeah, it's just wild things. Yeah, it was just a lot of crazy things. In his interview, he was straight up talking Caribbean. Drake, nigga, you from Canada. What do you mean things? What do you mean things? Like, somebody who doesn't have a true identity for themselves is always going to be, searching for that and looking for that in other places, in other cultures, and other things. And that's got to be an exhausting way to live. You dudes who do not do the internal work, anybody who do not do the internal work, that is a struggle if there is one. Ain't nothing worse than a war with yourself. Ain't nothing worse than to be at war with yourself. And like I said, Drake, the bags is starting to show under your eyes, man. And the antics behind the scenes of, interacting with girls underage. We literally just saw how people talking about Ruby Rose. And Ruby Rose admitted to interacting with some of these dudes. And she was like, yeah, when I was younger. And I was like, girl, you 20, early 20s. So what do you mean when I was younger? But it doesn't surprise us. We know that men go for younger girls. That's quite literally why the law had to put 18 for legality reasons, because they have an obsession with control over women. We quite literally are battling the government right now for child marriage. A man in Missouri is trying to say, with consent from parents, that a girl who was 12 years old can get married. You usually think of that in other countries. Like child brides is what you think of in foreign countries. No, that's happening in the States. Girls are getting married at 12 and 13 in the States. Okay? Girl, I'll watch Escape from Polygamy. These girls turn 12, 13, and they start doing these little banquets and stuff to be prospects for these older men, to be a prospect, to be a wife. And you're not going to be a wife. You are going to be, shout out to Erica DeMiro, a mattress maid and a mule. You're going to be doing all the work around the house, going to be doing all the cooking, all the cleaning, okay? And you're going to feel obligated to give a man sex whenever he says so. And God forbid you reject. How much can you reject a man that's so much bigger than you at 12 or 13 years old? It's you're a slave. You're a slave. And it's really unfortunate that we even do live in a country that is allowing that to happen. But nonetheless, that just correlates to the fact that a lot of these dudes out here are obsessed with young girls, and y'all got problems, okay? So yeah, you guys, y'all drop in the comments. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Drake and his battle with his identity. What was y'all's favorite Kendrick verse, Kendrick line? Um and what do you think this means for Drake and his future? Like I said, he went MIA. He's ghost. I ain't see him, heard him. I ain't seen a video clip of him nowhere. I think Drake is over there, you know, when they say he's gonna cry in the car. Drake is in the car crying somewhere. And we just gonna see how this, you know, you gotta pop out and show niggas. Okay, kid just said you sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Don't quit me. You don't wanna quit me. What is that off of? You don't want to with me. Dang, that verse. What is that off of, y'all? Y'all drop down in the comments. Tell me what is that off of. But yeah, moving on. Met's Gala looks, you guys. Let's get into a few of the Met Gala looks because the Met Gala this year, the theme was what was it? It was something in time. So like a fairy tale in time, a story in time. Oh, Garden of Times. That's what it was. The Garden of Times. So one of my favorites. All right, stop that. Don't want to play that because I ain't got time to be getting flagged because YouTube be ready to flag the people. You know what? The fact that I just passed Drewski and Ruby Rose just really disgusted me because that nigga Drewski is crazy. All right, so some of my favorite looks. First one, Tyla. Tyla did something so different from everybody. I just really appreciated her going in a different direction because it was Garden of Times or whatever. A lot of people went the garden route. You know, it's kind of easy to interpret or do an interpretation of florals and things like that. But she went the time route and she had like a full on dress. Hopefully you guys might be able to see it on my phone. Let's see. Will it focus? Maybe not. No, it might not. But I'm sure you guys have seen it by now. But Tyla had full on sand dress. The dress was literally made of sand, and they put ground up sand and crystals so it would sparkle. And she committed to it. She had like the sand on like her shoulders. She had the hourglass as like a clutch. One of my favorites. Who else looked it good? Okay. And it's crazy because the after party, some people be dressing better at the after parties than on the red carpet. That's so annoying. Y'all, I hate to say it, but damn it. Nicki Minaj, I liked her look. Ugh. I did like Nicki Minaj's look. I did. I really did. Oh, I hate that I liked her look. Zendaya, of course, always. She had two looks actually. Law Roach is killing the scene right now. He is styling everybody. So Zendaya looks good. Who else? Doja Cat, y'all, she came on scene with a long sleeve, not a long sleeve, like a long t-shirt dress. It was an interpretation of Flower. I saw the interview where she said, oh, you know, I picked basically a t-shirt dress because cotton is one of the biggest like resource flowers or whatever. So I get what you were, you know, Doja always try to do different shit. You know, that's Doja. Mindy Kaling, one of my favorites. I forget the designer's name, but he's very well known for his kind of like avant-garde, like motion looking type dresses. So Mindy Kaling looked good. Zendaya, her blue looked good too. I love Tiana Taylor's. I just did not like the hair. The hair for me was a miss. I did not like that kind of blonde at all. It just didn't serve for me the blondes. Kim Kardashian. I when Kim Kardashian did her interview, she said the purpose of like the sweater was to look like, oh, like her Prince Charming just, rang for her. So let me hurry and put like a something on my shoulder so I can run through the garden. And it did offer a little bit of like softness to I don't want to say harshness, but to be a contrast to like the hard metal that she was, wearing. So I liked it. It's not that I didn't like it. It was just maybe that's just like so predictable, maybe that I was just kind of like over it because it was predictable. Erykah Badu, I have a love hate with Erykah Badu's. FKA Twigs, she's so weird. Now Miss Venus and Serena. Venus looked all right, but Miss Serena, man, we gotta talk to you, Miss Serena. Miss Serena, I'm gonna need you to come to the front. We've been having, the black delegation, the black fashion delegation, Miss Serena, has been having a problem with your looks for a few years now. Even a girl on TikTok went viral because it's like, Serena, who is in your camp that is dressing you like this? Because it wasn't even like the dress was just like terrible. Like, I got the essence of what they were going for, but that's really the best y'all could come up with for Serena. Like that, coming out there looking like a whole ass baked potato, like that's what y'all came up with. And then the makeup is always just like y'all need to do like a flash test before y'all go to these events, because anytime Serena gets photographed, she looks ghostly. Like, it is the complexion, the shade, foundation match does not work at all. So it's just so upsetting. It's upsetting me and my homegirls. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. It is upsetting me, my homegirls, that Serena, you are not living and basking in your legendary essence, girl. We are rooting for you. We are all rooting for you, Miss Serena. Do better, okay? Let's see. Who else looks good to me? Lizzo, I didn't like. Long story short, didn't like it. Although Willow and Jaden didn't necessarily stick to the script of the theme, if you ask me, it still looks good. Willow looks gorgeous. Jaden, looks avant-garde. And it was cute. Like, it didn't necessarily match the theme in my eyes, but it's not a bad look. Usher was given all right. It was given real Legend of Zorro. Yeah, it could have been better. Taraji P. Henson, another one that could have been better. Her face, the dress didn't match the makeup and hair to me. I wish there was some type of pink floral going on at the bottom to offset what was happening. Taraji usually does really good with her face and makeup. I really like her looks, but this one was a miss for me. Let's see. Dua Lipa, I didn't like Dua Lipa. Kylie, boring. Long story short, it was cool. It was literally just like a white dress. Gabrielle Union looks good. I didn't see her dress. But how did it go with the theme? There was a lot of people where it's like, oh, that's cute, but it didn't go with the theme. Like, basically, it just wasn't going with the theme, but it was cute. Now, Miss Queen Latifah, y'all have no idea how much Queen Latifah is one of my idols. UNITY, that's a unity. Who you calling up? UNITY, okay? I punched him dead in his eye, okay? You just don't say I let these niggas know. I'll punch you dead in your eye, touching me. Queen Latifah looks good, y'all. Kim just be starving herself for these looks. Kendall kind of gave real medieval Maleficent garden tease. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. Miss Angel Reese got an invitation to the Met Gala. I wish they did something different. It was given more Met Gala after party than Met Gala. Who the freak is Aya Nakamura? Carol G. Taylor Russell looked good. She had like a wooden plate kind of. Ariana Grande wasn't like it was bad, but it just was too. I don't know. It was too fairy tale for me. I don't. That's the only way I can put it. Little Nas X looked really good. I really enjoyed Little Nas X, and he kind of like toned it down, but still gave enough extravaganza. Kiki, y'all, Kiki said, I'm not gonna let this nigga hold me down. My crazy ass baby daddy, I'm not gonna let him do me this way. She looked good. If you gonna try to look like a baked potato, at least be a good looking one, okay? The way the hair, it just gave like real royalty. Demi Moore, she had like a Birds of Paradise themed dress, and when I tell you it was gorgeous, I loved Demi Moore's. She definitely was an underrated look for the night. Oh, Chris and Corey were there. Boring. Didn't even like theirs. Rita Ora, hot mess. I don't know Rita Ora what the freak that was. Kerry Washington. Oh, I missed her. Okay, Kerry Washington. Y'all, she done got hella skinny. Kerry Washington, not bad. Let's see. Hey, Coleman Domingo. Y'all, Coleman Domingo, he gonna turn out a look now. But this one was not my favorite. Not my favorite. He does good looks. All right, Miss Gail King. Gail King, y'all, she looked good for her age. It's giving real Tiana from Princess and the Frog. Lala Kent. Lala, you almost had me. Lala had me until she got to the boob area. The face looks good, hairs look good, but I do not like the scallop top of how she has that. Had she carried that rose like pattern all the way up, that could have been a win. But that wasn't it. That wasn't what it was hitting for. Let's see who else. As far as guys went, Wisdom was a good look. He did almost like a burnt, like flower petal situation. Jack Harlow, I don't know whose quinceañera you were showing up to. Let's see. I really feel like that was all the looks that I thought were good. Janelle Monáe, she looked good. Were these clocks or just Janelle Monáe looked good, but like it didn't necessarily go with the theme once again. Damson Idris, I mean, he gonna always look like a nice little piece of hot chocolate, okay? But it wasn't a lot. It just wasn't a lot. Let's see. I really think that's it, you guys, as far as looks for. So for me, the top looks are gonna be Mindy Kaling, Demi Moore, let's see, Tyla, Zendaya, Jennifer Lopez showed up once again, not looking bad, but predictable. Jennifer Lopez is going to give you a snatched waist, see-through, bodice type situation. It's the usual. Let's see. Yeah. I really would have loved to see Megan Thee Stallion on a Met Gala for this, but Megan Thee Stallion, she out there doing bigger and better things. All right, y'all. So the last topic to get into is Miss Shaunie O'Neal and her husband, who told that lady to shut up on stage. He wasn't necessarily a shut up, but he told her to hush. Okay, we get that you're praising the Lord and everything, but you are interrupting the congregation and hearing me do the song and praise and worship. So she was hollering, y'all. She was hollering. Y'all know Shaunie O'Neal done turned into, First Lady Deacon. and her husband, his name Keion. He's the pastor, well known, and he told that lady to hush on stage. Now, half the people was like, and that's not a good look, but the other people were kind of like, yeah, it do be people in church that do too much. And he actually explained that in his interview with Tamron Hall. Tamron Hall, I've noticed, has kind of become the new place to do what's it called? Damage control. You go on Tamron Hall when you're trying to do damage control, okay? And so he went on there and basically explained this has been a 4-year affair with this woman. She always doing stuff in church. Like, he's like, I had deacons, ushers talk to her, everything. This woman was, a distraction from people praising the Lord, i.e., me. And I had to shut it down because I'm the pastor. I run the pulpit, and we are in charge of how it goes around here. And so I told that lady to be quiet. And he said, I'd do it again. And I mean, there are people who have those stories. Everybody, if you grew up in a black church, you have stories of somebody catching the Holy Ghost or catching the Spirit and, having a moment. Cool, have your moment. But, ma'am, if you having a moment every Sunday, I mean, I get life is hard, trust me, because life got hands. But every Sunday, I'm questioning that. We actually had a lady who used to stomp so much. Y'all know ladies who, it's not assigned seats, but there's a group of old ladies who sit at the same pews. That's really kind of like their unofficial official spots. And there was this one lady in our church who stomped so much. She played the tambourine. That was her vibe over there. She used to stomp so much that there actually was like a dip under where like she sat at because she was, hitting that tambourine and stomping at the same time. And it was just kind of like that. We knew, okay, yep, okay, sister. All right, there you go. And it was just so prominent. Like you walked over there and you would feel that little dip. You like, what the freak? And you would remember, oh, this is Sister D's spot, okay? And so, y'all drop down in the comments. Is somebody catching the Holy Ghost every week a problem? Should y'all just let it happen? Is it believable? At that point, is it a distraction? Now, his wife, Miss Shaunie O'Neal, I do want to say, bring her into this and talk about her really fast. We'll end on talking about Shaunie and her discussing her book. I guess she's doing a memoir. And Shaunie basically in the book was talking about how she didn't really think she was in love with Shaq. She was in love with the idea. And everybody was like, oh my God, Shaunie's a gold digger. She didn't love Shaq. And it's kind of like, Shaunie's not saying nothing that a lot of women aren't out here living. You know how many women are with the man because they love the idea of the man? They love the idea of love. There are a lot of people who only get in relationships not because they love the person, but they love the idea of a relationship. They love the idea of the person. And staying with a man who isn't good for you, the only way you can convince yourself to do that is by staying in the fairy tale. What this could be, what we are working towards, everything that you're sold at the beginning of, a family, a legacy, all that stuff. That's where a lot of women reside to deal with the fact that they are in a relationship that is unfulfilling. And Shaunie talked about how she realized, like, damn, I'm in a relationship with Shaq and I don't got shit to show for it. Like, she's like, I didn't have no money. I was completely dependent upon him. If there's anything y'all we don't learn dealing with these locals is do not depend on them for nothing, okay? Zero, zip, zilch. Because when a man want to drop you, he can. And if you ain't got nothing to fall on, you don't want that to happen. So Shaunie was like, she built Basketball Wives out of survival, out of necessity. And Basketball Wives obviously came to be what it is. But, you know, for her and realizing like, okay, if I do leave this man, what am I gonna leave with? You know? And a lot of times, unfortunately, having to think that way is what happens with a lot of women because you know, you do try to do the right wifely thing by letting your husband handle things and letting your husband, you know, be the quote unquote leader. And then a lot of these women turn around and realize your husband ain't been paying the bills. Shout out to Bambi. y'all, y'all ass high in debt because your nigga got a gambling problem or something like that. You know how many women found out got pink slip eviction notices on their places because they found out that man was an alcoholic, he was a gambler, drug addiction, and then they have to figure out how to keep a roof over their kid's head because the man that they were you know believing in and trusting in dropped the ball. Women a lot of times be trying to hand you niggas the baton, but y'all drop it, and then y'all get mad at women for operating the way that they do. Y'all ain't trustworthy, not a lick, not a damn, point blank period. And so Shaunie basically kind of expressing that. Of course, people wanted to be like, "Oh, you're a gold digger. You stay with him." Does money play a part? Yes, absolutely. If I'm a woman and I'm gonna get with a man, the fact that y'all get upset with women deciding not to get with a broke man is quite funny because I think men, y'all are the one who quite literally established the transaction and telling women, "Oh, hey, a man is supposed to provide." So when women say, "Okay, hey, provide for me. Hey, let me pick a man who's a good provider," now all of a sudden it's, you a gold digger. No, I'm only a gold digger because you ain't got it. That's really what it is. It ain't tricking if you got it. If you asking, shawty, you know that I got that cash. Okay? It ain't tricking if you got it. All right? A lot of you dudes don't got it. A lot of you dudes are mediocre. A lot of you dudes don't have the work ethic to build something. And then you get mad at women for choosing not to go along on that ride. You know how crazy that is? The type of entitlement you have to feel like a woman is supposed to ride that ride to hell with you is baffling. Audacity, like it's quite literally audacity is the only thing is you can say that these niggas got. Because I'm not gonna keep riding this car with you to go over the cliff, Thelma and Louise. I'm not doing it. Okay, if you want to take that ride to hell, go on, be my guest. But as a person who's got common sense, and I can see, I'm sitting here reading the signs, the flashing yellow lights. I'm looking at everything. I'm not gonna listen to a man who's telling me, "Oh no, it's good, it's okay. I got you. Don't worry about it." But I'm sitting here as we drive, and I'm just sitting here looking at the signs, going, "You turn, block ahead, road ends." Like I'm looking at these signs. Let me get these are saying this is not a good way to go. But because you're a woman, you're supposed to, you know, sit back, be quiet, let your man do it. And it gets a lot of women in effed up situations, unfortunately. And then when she becomes a single mother, guess whose fault it is? It's always the woman's fault. It's always the woman's fault. And then when you leave, and then it's like, oh, well, you put your child in that situation. And then when you leave to get your child out of that situation, now you're the asshole who's trying to take your kids away from the dad. And that's why kids, you know, need their dad in their life. Well, just because I moved out doesn't mean the dad ain't in the kid's life. And if the dad only knows how to be in a child's life by being in the same location, what does that say about you and the kind of dad that you are? Like, these dudes and always trying to come after women, especially these little incels, y'all really, and trying to, you know, come after women, y'all really are only talking shit about yourselves. And a lot of these men, y'all do understand that y'all are trash because that's what y'all tell women from the get-go. From the time that women quite literally grow up, you got brothers, uncles, and dads telling you, don't listen to no man. I remember specifically growing up and my dad telling me, don't listen to those sweet nothings. Don't listen to those sweet nothings, because that's what they are, sweet nothings. They're going to tell you whatever. It's going to sound good. All right? Sweet nothings, though. Nothing. Okay? And what we've obviously learned is we can't listen to what men say. We got to listen to what men do. And y'all's actions is giving real. We can't trust y'all. What did Kai say? Don't trust these niggas, no, don't trust these niggas, no. Okay. How she start the song? What did she say? Dang. How did Keion start that song? Um, Dang, I forgot how Keion started that song. But long story short, she said, "Don't trust him." And when you would have do like Shaq, got money, NBA player, Shaq acknowledged it. He said he wasn't a good husband. So when this interview came out and Shaunie's talking about, "Oh, I really don't think I was in love," Shaq commented and said, "I get it. I wouldn't be in love with me either." Like, it takes a lot of introspection to understand that you as a man are the one that fucked up the relationship. And a lot of men have a hard time accepting that. Martell Holt, because Love and Marriage Hospital come on tonight. Martell Holt refuses to acknowledge that he's the one who blew that relationship up. But at least Shaq can say to Shaunie, like, "I understand you might not have been in love with me because look how I was treating you. Look what you were dealing with." So the only way, and she also talked about like watching her mother stay with her dad. She said her parents are married like 30, 40, 50 years or something like that. And her mother couldn't forgive her father, but still stayed with him even after he was cheating and everything. And you don't think you're going to repeat the cycle of accepting mistreatment or bad behavior, but because the way women are socialized, it's going to happen, unfortunately, because the first thought is always going to be, "Oh, for the family, for the kids, I gotta, this picture that you have, I'm in love with the idea of what this could be." But and always focusing on, oh, the potential. Y'all know that's my favorite thing, the potential of it all. You ignore the reality, what's quite literally in front of your face. And you wake up 10, 15 years down the line and realize you ain't even happy. Like, you're not fulfilled. You don't have nothing for yourself. And that's what happened with Shaunie. And so it is good to see that, she had that awakening, was able to develop a career for herself, and all of that, because a lot of other women aren't that lucky. They have their awakening and can't do shit because they are in relationships where a lot of these dudes out here will do everything to sabotage a woman. They just do. They are abusive in every which way you can be. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, they will do it. Men always constantly talking about women competing with men. We ain't compete with y'all. Y'all compete with us low key. And the stats show the women is out here doing the work, okay? The stats are showing, why are women the homeowners? That's my question. Why are single women the largest group of homeowners? What are you niggas doing? It's not making any sense. That's the crazy part. That's what's like the stats. Y'all always about, oh, women be lying, but these numbers don't. The numbers don't. Men. That's all I got to say. That's it. That's all. At the end of the day got to end. Shout out to Glorilla. Cuban on Cuban, my shit and latest, hoe. Okay. At the end of the day got to end. So, yeah, you guys, that was the slide for today. I went a little bit longer than I expected, but nonetheless, you guys, Drake, Kendrick, what y'all think about that beef? What's your favorite song that was released in the midst of that beef? Euphoria is good though, because when he said, "I hate the way that you say nigga," like he was just like, "I hate the way that you dress. I'm your biggest hater. I can't stand you." But then he followed up with "They Not Like Us," and then also what he say? Nigga bomb. With Future, what's it called? Like this, like that. I think it's like that. I think it's called like that. Nigga, the big three, nigga, it's just big meat, nigga, boom. Hey, yeah, Kendrick, I'm really like that. That's what, yeah, it's called like that. Shaunie, do y'all believe Shaunie? And do you feel like people don't have a right to call Shaunie a gold digger in a situation when it comes to Mr. Shaquille O'Neal? When it comes to Pastor Keion, do y'all feel like he was in the right for telling old woman to shh, to stupid? Okay, be quiet because you are distracting the congregation from hearing my message. All right. Go forward, y'all. Y'all just make sure to drop down in the comments any topics that we missed. I do think I want to talk about Gary Owens, because Gary Owens, that interview that he did with Shannon Sharp is touching on a topic that I think definitely needs to be discussed. So I might do a video about that. So y'all stay tuned. Y'all make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, you guys. And I will catch y'all later in the next one. Deuces.